The risk assessment meeting is an important part of any project. The team uses this meeting to determine the probability and impact of each risk, determine if the risk can or should be avoided by making changes to the project, plan an appropriate response, and catalog risk and responses in the risk plan. The risk assessment meeting should be a meeting usually conducted during the sprint planning process. However, you can talk about risk in other Scrum events like, for example, product backlog refinement. And this is an excellent opportunity for the Scrum team to include a discussion about risks. Which item is risky and yet still valuable? Which element is risky and does not bring significant value? Is it worth keeping it on the product backlog? What experiments do we need to run to validate our assumptions? So keep in mind that risk management in Agile and Scrum needs to be done at two levels, the project level and the sprint level. So the project level risk management process is done at the broader level, taking into consideration the whole project and its requirements. Sprint level risk management process is done at the sprint level, encompassing the details of the sprint. These two processes seem to be separate, but they go hand in hand during the whole project execution. Okay, now let's join our Scrum team discussion regarding risks on the project. Keep in mind that the developers are somewhere in the middle of the software development and that this short meeting will be our first step towards creating a risk plan later on in this course. Let's join him.
Okay, everybody, let's take some time to point out some risks that we may face with this project. One thing that immediately came to mind for me were some of the features. I think that some of the features that were suggested are going to actually be a little risky to implement. Things like the voice recognition and the remote connection with users are likely to cause us problems. We just need to make sure that we really evaluate the value of these features before implementing them. I think they're things that we can do. We just need to make sure that they're essential before we risk developing them.
Yeah, I agree. I've run into technology risks on other projects that I've worked on in the past. Mm-hmm. So we're thinking about developing this for Android and iOS potentially. That could be risky. I mean, it's a lot of work. And what if we run into compatibility issues with the different operating systems?
That's an excellent point, and it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
I've worked with Lisa before in the past, and she's been known to change her mind a lot. Mm-hmm. It's just something to keep in mind. Okay. But don't get me wrong, like her ideas are amazing, and when she has them, it's always for the best. It's just something that happens often with her.
Okay. What if someone gets sick? We're a small team and everyone is important.
That's a good point. No one is allowed to get sick.
What about the database? They've updated it since I worked with it last, so we don't know what it's going to be like. I mean, hopefully it's something that we can work with easily, but it was really glitchy the last time, so unless that's been fixed, I would say this project is a bust. And I would say that's a very high risk.
Yeah, that's a good point. That makes me nervous.
I'm sure it will be fine. It was designed with projects like this in mind, so I'm sure it will be easy to use. We'll just have to wait and see. I'm sure it'll be easy to use.
So does anyone else have any other risks?
Not that I can think of.
Nope.
Great. Then let's make a risk plan.
Okay.